Rise and shine on Australia's Vision Christian Radio.
Well, it is Tuesday, and this is the podcast for Rise and Shine.
Welcome. Now, I am getting some great messages coming in here. You'll hear on this show that, as you're probably aware, wedding this weekend, this Saturday in Geelong. My oldest son and his bride-to-be, Monica, getting married together on Saturday. I know that I'm responsible for a speech.
Yes.
I think I might be responsible for a prayer as well. We'll get into that over the next day or so. But the speech advice, I've gone out there and asked for speech advice. You'll hear some of it on the show there. I'm still getting messages coming in. People giving us some really good speech advice.
Well, I think it might be today and tomorrow then. So perhaps if you're listening along,
yes,
and as you're thinking, I've got some advice for the couple or advice for DJ.
Yes, I love it.
You could send us a message. You can leave it if you call 1800 316 316 after hours. It goes to a message bank. We'll check them in the morning.
Yes.
So get involved, and we would love to hear from you.
Or there is the Facebook post. I put a Facebook post about wedding speeches. If you've got some gold, you can head over there and do that. Now, I do want to take a second to say we have got 1,000 followers, like about 670 likers on our Facebook page. It's weird how Facebook now does for a page. You can do likes or a follow, but we're doing it. We've got 1,000 followers, which is absolutely phenomenal. Over 1,000 followers there on our Facebook group, our little private Facebook group that you can find the link for right there and apply to join. We are at 499 people in that group. Now, what happened? I was very excited. We had 2 people apply.
Okay.
To get in. I was like,
well, there you go.
We're getting over 500.
Yes.
One person didn't fill in the application form properly.
And can we just say, you say apply. I feel like it might be overstating what is involved. There's just a question or two. You have to say, who are the hosts?
Yeah.
Fel and DJ. If you got it wrong, we'd still let you in, honestly.
You send a blood sample in.
No, and then you also say, will you obey or keep to the rules of good taste?
Very
simple.
simple.
You're going to be a nice person.
Yeah, basically you're going to be nice.
And if you say yes to that, then
it's
you're in
so
like
simple.
win.
So simple, but a lot of people just miss those questions and don't do it. So I reply back to them and say, look, please try again. You've missed this. And then I approved a person came in and then
Someone left?
someone left the group.
Why would you leave? Don't leave. Not till we get over.
Back down to 499. I thought, we've hit 500. No, we didn't. A couple of people.
Well,
anyway.
while you're away, we'll do our best.
Yes.
But maybe today you could jump in if you're listening along.
Well, if you're listening to the podcast and you're not part of the group, what's going on? Come on, get over to Facebook, join the group over there. It's a lot of fun. I love it when people post pictures. My favourite thing is when people post pictures of where they're listening to us from.
I think that's the best piece.
Sunrises, 100%. Off to work,
Coffee.
whatever they're doing. Yeah, all that fun stuff. We love it there. So get across that. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy the podcast today. It was we had some fun time, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy it there.
DJ's trying to remember what even
Well,
happened.
I was about to say the Bible story sound off clue is coming up as well.
Yes.
And we'll I want that to keep on going while I'm away.
Otherwise you need to make another sound.
I really don't.
You're not
want
even giving us a backup sound.
I'm not giving you a backup sound
Wow.
because I want it
Otherwise
to go.
it'll be on me to make a sound, and who knows what will happen.
Yeah, I know what it'll be. It'll be the helicopter. Here's the helicopter. Exactly.
It's the best way to start your day. Rise and shine. With Fel and DJ on Vision.
And DJ, we have got Tony Davenport. You said you'd drag him in.
I've dragged him in. I'm hoping we've got his news flash music in the background because I think
yes.
here we go.
There you go.
That red folder sort of comes alive when this music plays over there. Tony Davenport, so good to have you in the studio with us this morning. You've got lots of papers flying across your desk there. What's making news?
We've got a lot to get through today.
Okay.
So let's start with the misinformation bill,
Oh.
which some people are calling. This is the Institute of Public Affairs. They say it's the single biggest attack on freedom of speech in Australia's peacetime history. Wow.
Gee, that's a big statement.
Yeah.
It is, and the vote is due probably next week.
Okay.
It goes into the Senate, and the decision will probably rest on a motley crew of independent senators, some of whom have been booted out of their parties or have resigned from their parties, and they may not even be in the parliament come next year.
Can you give us an overview of the bill?
The bill basically, it says that you cannot vilify someone. Now, vilify refers to inciting violence, but in this, the interpretation here is that means basically just causing offence to someone, anyone.
Yeah.
And it also makes our social media providers face monstrous fines, like 5% of
Draconian. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
If they broadcast anything that is critical of the accepted government ideology.
Of the government ideology.
Of the government.
Of the day.
And it's not just the government, but it's of any accepted ideology. So this really is a worry for Christians, because if we're talking about gender, especially gender, if you're talking about gender transitions for children, for example, and you cite that British inquiry into a very critical inquiry into the harm that this causes, and whereas our government supports it, that could just be prevented from going on social media, and people could be prevented from speaking about it and punished for it. But most of the punishments will be on those tech companies, so they might just say, oh, we're just not going to report this. Now, actually, a lot of them don't report a lot of critical stuff anyhow.
Yeah.
Like in the American election, a lot of the pro-Trump material that's appeared to be censored. There's no actual statistics saying that, but it appeared to be controlled what we could say, or what Americans could say. And the social media, they're very, very powerful. Now, the thing is, they might just say, well, we don't care. We're not going to pay these fines. And there could be a major legal battle, and these are very, very wealthy companies, and it could be that Australian taxpayers lose out in fighting to make these people pay.
It's a scary story, and I really appreciate the reporting that you and the rest of the news team here at Vision have been doing, because it's one of those ones where it's quite divisive. And I think the people who are behind it have got good intentions, but it could be used, depending what the government we have, it could be used in any which way. And even lawyers are looking into it saying, man, this really oversteps the bounds of and it only takes one test case to prove a point, and then we're on a really slippery slope here.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is going to be, let's say it does get passed, and at the moment it looks like it's going to be 38 votes pro and against.
Oh, neck and neck.
It's really divided,
39 votes to get through. Okay. So it may not even get through. But if it does, it's going to be very hard to implement.
Yeah. I for one, just letting you know where I stand, I'm praying like crazy that some of these, some of these politicians and some of the facts that are out there around it could be.
Okay, I'm just going to add to a little story I had last week about those riots in Amsterdam. And remember, I told you that there was a bunch of Christians who came to the rescue of a lot of those football fans. And other Jewish people who were in town, in the Amsterdam capital, when the pro-Palestinian activists started rounding them up and hunting them down and assaulting them and everything. Those people who came to their rescue were from a little town of Urk, which I have mentioned earlier this year.
They had the big revival festival thing? Yes.
Well, no. They didn't have the revival festival, but they've been in a state of revival for decades or probably for centuries. Yeah. They are one of the most Christian towns in the Netherlands.
Right.
And they also are very, very pro-Israel.
Wow.
And when the Ukrainian war broke out, they actually drove to Ukraine and drove the Jewish people to Israel, where they could go and live. But they also have Israeli flags hanging up.
Yeah.
They have the menorah in their windows.
Yeah.
They are a really, really Christian country that just loves the Jews.
All right.
They came to their rescue.
Okay, so that's the town of Urk.
Praise God for Urk.
We'll go for a visit in
I want to go.
You'll be welcome there, that's for sure. They love Christians there.
Tony, stick around, because we'll come back with some more news stories in just a moment.
Across Australia.
Rise and shine.
And we have Tony Davenport. We've dragged him, and you're not hurt, are you, Tony? You came willfully down to the studio.
We weren't too physically
violent. There were some big bouncers that dragged me down the steps.
Oh.
The red folder is out. The papers are out. We've heard some great stories. What else is making news across the news desk?
Right, we're about to see on Netflix
Yes.
a movie called Mary, about the mother of Jesus.
Wow.
And already there's huge controversy.
Oh,
about
wow.
it. Now, not many people have seen the movie, but there's all sorts of criticism coming from all quarters, like the Catholics are concerned that it shows the relationship between Mary and Joseph as too romantic and not chaste. Some conservative Christians in America are upset because it's on Netflix, and Netflix is very ungodly. And then there's a whole lot of Palestinian Muslims who are upset that the lead actress playing Mary is Israeli. She's Jewish, because they claim that Mary was Palestinian, which is completely wrong according to all historians, all the experts on our history and history in the Holy Land say that no, there's no doubt that Mary was Jewish.
Wow.
And even worse, they're also upset that Herod, who's played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, is portrayed too nicely. That he's not a mean and nasty man that he really was.
Wow.
So that is due to come out on our screens or on Netflix screens on December the 6th. So people will be able to make up their own mind then. And I haven't seen any definitive reviews, but there was a film critic in England who said that I think that's really good that they're making this movie, because even if people don't agree with it, they will prompt discussions.
It's talking about the Christmas story.
It will send people to the Bible to find out the real story, because it'll probably be a fictional depiction. But
I reckon this is a follow-on from the success of things like The Chosen. You know, The Chosen has done really well. There's a lot of people in Hollywood taking notice of it, and it's great to see that we might be entering in. Well, I say it's great to see. We'll see what they actually do. Like this, re-entering into this place of biblical movies. You know, back in the original, when movies first came out, all the stories that were told were biblical stories. Yeah. And we sort of faded away from that for a long while. I think that era might be coming back.
Yeah, well, the Christian movies are doing very well.
Yeah.
Like the best Christian pageant ever. It's still going really well at the box office in America.
That's good.
It's up to about $30 million in gross now.
I'll be happy with that.
Now, there's one other story I'm going to mention, and it's an oxymoron.
Okay.
A Christian undisputed boxing champion of the world.
That is unusual.
Now, this is an Irish girl called Katie Taylor.
I've
Taylor.
Yeah,
She could be my favourite person.
Yeah, Katie Taylor came from one of the roughest areas.
I've seen an interview with her. It's
Dublin.
amazing.
And her whole life has been dedicated to boxing. She actually dressed up as a boy when she was
to box?
To box in when she was 11 or 12 or something like that. She went on to become the Olympic champion, and now she's won several weight levels. And there was the big fight just recently between Mike Tyson and some other guy.
Jake Paul.
The
YouTuber.
58-year-old Mike Tyson, and it was a complete and utter farce. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But the pre-fight was Katie Taylor, and she had to fight the biggest fight of her life just to win. Wow. And she did. Even though she didn't hit as many punches, she won that. But the interesting thing is that before every fight, she prays. And she loves the psalm where it says, God is my refuge, God is my strength, and all that.
Very outspoken.
And well, she's not actually. She's very quietly spoken. She always gives glory to God, but her private life is totally unknown. She's 38 and has been a world champion for many years, and is one of the most loved sports persons in Ireland.
Really?
Absolutely adored, because she's just humble, absolutely humble, projects the light of Jesus in everything she does. Even though I wouldn't want to tangle with her. She packs a mean punch, but she gives glory to God for everything she does, and lives a humble, quiet, and devout life.
All right. Well, if you want to read
So
any of
inspiring.
those stories, she's a fascinating personality. Read any of those stories, head over to vision.org.au. You can find Tony's stories there with the rest of the news team if you head over to the read section. Tony, always a pleasure to have you in the studio. Let's go to the rest of the team here for the Vision National News headline.
Great conversations, fun, inspiration, and more. Rise and shine with Fel and DJ on Vision.
And now it's time for a little clue for the
Bible Story Sound Off.
clue number 2. Clue number 2 for this, our 6th sound for the Bible Story Sound Off. Clue number 2. Are you ready? Strap yourselves in. You're going to find this story. It's just a few verses in the Old Testament. I've gone back to the Old Testament. Those New Testament stories are too easy. It's in the Old Testament. So go look in there. Bell, he's back. One of our favourites. It's been a little while since we've seen him. Jason Perkins. Where have you been, buddy?
I actually just got back from Sri Lanka and Singapore a week ago.
I didn't pick that.
No, Sri Lanka, first time I've ever been to the subcontinent, that part of the world.
Wow.
And, man, I was told ahead of time, I have very close friends that are Sri Lankan. I asked them, if you could describe your culture in one word, how would you describe it?
What did
And
they say?
They said warm. They said the food is warm,
Yes.
the people are warm, the temperature is warm, and they were so right on. I loved every moment of the
Beautiful.
2 weeks that we were in Sri Lanka. And then my wife and I, we actually did a bit of Sabbath in Singapore before we came home. So it was
nice.
lovely. Yeah, 2 weeks of ministry there, helping church leaders to really strengthen and enrich their marriages.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was
That's
fantastic.
Well, you mentioned your lovely wife, Kristen, there.
Yes.
We've had her in here before. Tell
We
her
have.
we miss her. We
I
want her
will.
back.
Yes.
She needs to be coming back for next year, I tell you
Yeah.
what. Now, talking about all things next year, I'm looking at your beautifully redesigned website here, perco.company. We'll
That's
put the links out there. You've got something special planned for the end of the year.
I do. You guys, you know that week of the year, the last week of the year between Christmas and New Year's where you wake
I
up and
love
you're
that
like,
week.
The
I
time
do-
where time doesn't exist.
Exactly. You wake up and you're like, what day of the week is it?
Where am I? What happened?
Is it the New Year? Did I miss the New Year's Eve thing? That week, we're actually scheduling something. Here's what we're doing is most people, I think, listening to your show have a desire to grow spiritually each and every year and to deepen their relationship with Jesus. That week of the year is a great time to reflect on the previous year and to think about the year going forward.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing a webinar to help people actually put an intentional plan towards their spiritual formation, their intimacy with Jesus, and caring for their soul in 2025.
Wow.
And so we've got a webinar. It's a free webinar, and I'm going to coach people through an ancient tool called a rule of life. Don't be scared by the word rule. It's not a legalistic thing. I grew up in like hardcore legalism, so I'm like against all those things. It's simply a structure, a plan for your spiritual growth and your relationship with Jesus in 2025. And I want to help people go into 2025 with a plan for how they're going to grow spiritually.
Hang on. And you said, let me just get this straight. You said a free webinar.
That's it. Yeah, free webinar. It's just 1 hour. And
Wow.
we're going to give some free tools away. So there'll be some practical things you'll walk away. You're going to walk away with an actual plan for your spiritual growth in 2025.
All right, we're going to put the link out there for everybody to go register. I'm going to be registering, so I'll be there for the getting the rule of life for. It sounds like I need some rules for 2025, so I'll be registering for the webinar right there. We'll put the links up on our socials. But what I'd love to do with you in here talking about that, I'd love to get some of the ideas that you've got maybe brewing behind the scenes of what you're going to be doing during the webinar. Are you ready to give us a little bit, a little bit of a taste for free?
I want to give you a small kind of understanding of what a rule of life is, because even that phrase, I get it. There's probably a bit of pushback from some listeners going, I don't need more rules for my spiritual life. Like God, works in mysterious ways. I believe that, but he's also a God of order. And so I want to unpack what a rule of life is. I can't wait to do that.
Oh, I like this. Okay.
Rise and shine.
Well, we have Jason Perko Perkins with us. And Jason, I love it because if Christmas is too early for DJ, you're actually talking about the new year.
Yes.
That week between Christmas and New Year. I'm all for going ahead. So this is fantastic.
Well, see, it's funny. I get very bar humbug about Christmas. But when you start talking about New Year's, I'm
you're
all
happy
in.
with that?
I'm all in for this type of stuff. Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's some psyche
you-
there. But
Yeah.
You guys familiar with StrengthsFinders, that assessment? On that assessment, I score very high in something called futurist. So I do struggle kind of looking too far into the future. So I understand some people may be like, wait a second, it's November. Why are we talking about Christmas? It's not even December yet. And now Perko comes on and he's talking about the new year. I apologize. I'm a futurist, but yeah, I hope it's helpful.
No, it's very exciting. But we're talking about a great webinar. So this applies anywhere anyone in the country.
Yeah.
You can jump online. How long does it go for?
It's just 60 minutes.
Okay.
We're just going to take a short 1 hour webinar to unpack an idea called a rule of life. And Fel, I know some people like that word rule I've already mentioned is a bit of a struggle. It really comes from original Greek and Latin with the idea of a trellis is really where the word comes from. Kind of imagine a grapevine. Jesus talked a lot about a vine.
Yes.
They grow on a trellis. You think of any grapevines and things, beautiful flowers and things oftentimes need a structure to grow on. When we talk about our spiritual lives and our soul, a rule of life is simply a structure or an intentional plan to help you to grow your spiritual life on and help it to bear much fruit is the goal. Yeah.
That explains why I've been looking at your website here for Rule of Life.
Yes.
I'll put the link up there. I'm like, why has he got some greenery on a
I
lattice
was
going?
thinking a trellis was a bit of an odd choice.
Yes.
It all
that's
makes sense. It all makes
It's to
sense.
help you grow the vine of your inner life and to bear fruit. That's really what it is.
Beautiful.
Okay, so where can I ask you a question about it? Where did you find it? How has it been helpful for you?
Okay, so the rule of life is actually an ancient practice from 2nd, 3rd, 4th century Christians. So you may have heard of these guys. They were kind of weirdos that left regular society, moved out to the desert. They were called desert fathers and mothers, and they were the spiritual leaders of the church in those centuries, the early days. They actually developed this thing called a rule of life, which was a structured way of doing life in community so that they would grow spiritually and not be kind of sucked into the society and culture that they were a part of in that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where it originally comes from. I first came across it because of a lot of the work that I do in the soul care space, spiritual formation, that kind of thing. So you may have heard of guys like John Mark Comer or Pete Scazzero, Dallas Willard, these kinds of names. They've been referring to rule of life for a long period of time. It's centuries old, thousands of years old. And it's literally an intentional plan to help you grow spiritually. And I want to help people develop their rule of life for 2025 in the webinar.
And it's been profitable for you.
Oh my gosh, has it been? Yeah, 5 years now. And I probably review my rule of life 3 to 4 times a year just to refresh it and to take a look at it. And this particular rule of life that we're going to be looking at comes from like a long history of monasticism where they look at your rule in 4 key areas, and I can unpack those for you. We're going to be looking at rest, we're looking at relationships, we're looking at prayer, and then we're also looking at our physical lives as well. Yeah.
In an hour. I find that amazing.
Can I just say, I've already registered.
good.
While we've been talking, I filled in my details. You've got it right there waiting for you in your inbox
Great.
when you get it out there. We're going to put the link out there, perco.company. If you're driving this morning, just remember perco.company. You'll find the link there. You'll be able to get it all across there. We're going to be putting it out there. I cannot wait. This is the type of stuff. I eat this stuff up. I love overviews and looking at life and sort of tweaking on it like like a mechanic does with a car there. This is going to be so much fun. Jason, thank you so much for your time coming in this morning. Going to get you back in here in a couple of weeks, and hopefully we can break this down a little bit further.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys, and can't wait to hang out with some people online at the end of the year.
Rise and Shine with Fel and DJ on Vision Christian Radio.
I think.
Spin it or pin it. 2 new songs, but you can only vote for one. Vote for your favorite on Vision's Instagram or Facebook.
Thank you, Lockie.
Thank you, Lockie, for that. It is time for Spin It or Pin It, and very simply, we bring you 2 brand new songs that have been added to our little sister station, V180. What else can we call it?
I don't know if that's really...
Well, I've also called it the hip station.
Well, there you go, the hipster station.
The hipster. Well, no, the hipster can sound a bit derogatory.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. Well, I don't feel like it's a bad word. Maybe it's just because I used it in a cool way. Cool, a bit hip.
Well, they're if you want to be a cool kid like Phil there and be a bit of a hipster.
Then you go to Vision Kids, actually.
Well, Vision. We won't go to Vision Kids, but at the moment, V180. Now, they're adding new music all the time to V180. So with Spin It or Pin It, we bring you 2 of the new songs that we absolutely love that has been added to V180, and we ask you to vote which one is your favourite. Now, in the past, the music directors here have gone, oh, interesting. Okay, the Vision audience likes this sound, and they might eventually bring it into the playlist. We're not promising anything. Their ways are above our ways. That's all I'm saying. So we've got 2 new songs here to play you. The first one, I think we'll go to Nashville with the band Local Sound. Local Sound. Now, this is almost like a ministry band, Local Sound, and they're signed to Integrity Music. They are absolutely phenomenal. I love some of the stuff they're doing. They're really good at writing some big pop hits, but they also get a bit slow and worshipful as well. Led by Jared Reunion. I always do this. Jared Runyon. It looks like reunion here. Yeah. Jared here is the leader of the band, and they do a fantastic job. So their song is called Come Away. This is your first option. Let's have a listen. We'll jump in. Where are we jumping? About halfway through?
Something like that.
All right. Let's have a listen here. Local Sound.
My head says I'm not worthy, and I can't seem to shake the pain inside, leaving all the sin and shame behind me.
I tell you, that's a hard one to fade down because you just want to hear more of it.
Going.
It's a beautiful song.
It's beautiful.
It is a gorgeous song. Come Away. It's Local Sound featuring Sydney Lau on that one there, on the vocals as well as Jared there. So that's your first option. It's called Local Sound, Come Away. All right. Option number 1. Now, we've coming from Nashville. We're flying to Melbourne. All right. We're in Melbourne. These guys have just come off the back of a massive opening act tour for Lauren Daigle around Australia. I think they just finished their final gig in Perth.
I think so.
And Lauren Daigle has kissed them all goodbye, and they are ready to go on there.
Fist pump, probably.
maybe a high five. They have also just recently won in the Melbourne Music Awards. Now, this is a big mainstream awards.
Yeah.
They have won Best R&B, Soul or Gospel Band.
Wow.
They've won it, all right, Takawa. So they're hitting some goals there. They're doing great stuff. The song that we've just added on V180 is called Matthew 6. It features Mark Barlow from a worship group in Isla Vista called Isla Vista Worship there. And this is their track, Matthew 6. Let's fade it in about halfway through and listen to what Takawa sounds like.
His word remains faithful every day. He lights my life with brightness and glory. You lift up my eyes. You're trading my chains for an easy yoke and burden life. Oh, look at the birds, the plants and the trees. You clothe them with splendor, yet how much more you care for me.
Oh, another one. It's hard to fade it down. Recommend that you go over and listen to the full song. We've got all the links for both songs. That one, Takawa, Matthew 6. That's Rory McKenna on vocals there, the leader of the group there with Sam, and an absolute phenomenal band. I know they've won over a lot of hearts on this Lauren Daigle tour.
Wow, and a great reminder that if you like that music, V180 is a place you can go. So if you've got your Vision app, all you do is click. You can see V180 sitting right under the normal button. You press for Vision.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of music that you can listen to throughout the day as well.
Now, if you want to vote, you can vote right now. You can do it over at the Vision Instagram account. If you're a bit of an Insta lover there, make sure you're following Vision Radio on Instagram. You'll see it pinned up the top there. Leave a comment. All you need to let us know is it Takawa or Local Sound. Just leave a comment right there, and you can do that on our Facebook page as well. If you search for Rise and Shine Vision, you'll see it pinned right there with all the links that you want to get to be able to follow and listen to those songs again. It is Spin It or Pin It. We'll be doing all this week and tallying up your votes on Friday.
Subscribe and listen to the Rise and Shine podcast in the free Vision app. It's easy and available everywhere.
You're on Rise and Shine, and we've got DJ today and tomorrow, but then DJ, I've got Robbo for the next few days because there's something exciting happening.
Yeah, this is where you know you're getting older. You're getting a little bit older in life. It's my oldest son. So Benita, my wonderful wife Benita, who some of you know and love, is well, if you know her, you love her. She has no enemy in the world. That woman. Benita and I have 3 boys. We've been blessed with 3 boys. Drummond, who is turning 21 this year. Galvin, who is 18. And Judah, who is just turned 16. So we've got all big ages, 21, 18 and 16.
They are a big year.
Big year for us. Well, to add on to the big year for us, the oldest son has decided to get married this year.
I need some wedding music. I'll find some.
Yeah, here comes the bride. Here we go. But this is all happening this Saturday, November the 23rd in Geelong, Victoria. And we just looked at the weather report and we found out that the weekend is supposed to be like 36 degrees.
Oh, well, it's either that or raining in
exactly.
Victoria.
So it's going to be, it might be a little bit of both on the day, but anyway, it's Victoria. Who knows what's going to happen? So now my responsibilities are fairly low and easy on this one, to be honest with you. I've helped out with, getting all the, people involved. And
music,
we've booked
surely.
everything. Helping out a little bit with the music at the reception. Yeah. We're working on playlists for that.
Okay.
But the other thing that is really heavy on my heart, and I want to do a great job, is the father of the groom speech at the reception.
Big call.
Now, it's not, again, I know that the big speech is obviously the bride and groom, and then before that is usually the father of the bride gets everybody in tears.
Yes.
Well, I've got, the only thing I've been told is, Dad, keep it short, keep it sweet, because we know you can talk too long.
Did they give you a time frame?
Well, they've said, look, just no longer than, a few minutes.
Okay, good. I think that's a good idea.
Well, yeah. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. I've got a few ideas floating around my head. I have not started even writing it yet, but because you know me, I like to leave it to the last minute, maybe wing it on the time. But I need some advice. I need people who've been through this and have done wedding speeches. Maybe you've been a father of the groom, maybe you've been a mother of the bride or a mother, and you've done a speech. Give me some hot tips. What can I do? I'm not looking for, comedic drop the, microphone moments. I know there's all the jokes you can do. But my biggest fear, to be honest with you, if I can be totally transparent, is that I don't turn into a blubbering mess during the speech.
People like that.
I know people like it, but I actually want to get across something that I want to say. So I need to, I need to be ready to slap myself and get myself ready there. But if you've got a speech advice, I would love to hear it. So why don't you give us a call, 1-800-316-316. Let's have a listen to We Are Messengers 1,000 times. I don't want to do the speech 1,000 times, just once, and I want to do it right. 1-800-316-316.
Rise and shine.
We're talking all things weddings and milestones this morning. And look, something I haven't come to yet, having to give a speech at a wedding, apart from, obviously my own. But I am aware that will be coming up. And I was just imagining, actually, I think when the kids are, it'll be up to Bella and Josh and Millie, obviously, what they want.
Yeah.
But I imagine Murray and I doing it together because we've always done those sorts of things together.
And that's a usual traditional way. I'll have Benita there by my side so she can at least hold my hand. And I know that she'll have literally, when Benita cries, her tears go straight out. They literally don't roll down. They squirt out of her eyes and land on her cheeks. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But, very precious. And
so you laugh a lot when she's
crying?
No,
well, I actually you get quite moved. But literally, I've had people who've noticed it go, oh my goodness, Benita's tears sort of drop down onto her cheeks. Anyway, that'll be happening next to me. My little Benita there will be crying, obviously, holding my hand. And then it's time for me to give my speech at the reception. Father of the groom, first wedding. I'm asking for some advice. If you've been through that before, 1-800-316-316. I've even put a post up on our Facebook page. So if you want to leave a comment, you can do it over there. I can see someone on the line here. Bernie from Harkness, Victoria. You've been through this before. You've had a couple of your kids get married. Give me some advice.
3 weeks before Laura and Mark, my youngest daughter, Laura and Mark were getting married, 3 weeks before the wedding, she dropped this bomb on me and says, Mum, we would really like you to make a speech. And I went, you're joking. A speech. Anyway, I wrote it so good. I don't mind saying so.
So you wrote out a speech that you thought was great.
But everyone at the wedding was raving.
Oh.
But I just said, Lord, you've got to come in here and be my words, because 3 weeks, you're joking. I haven't even got to go. So it was funny, but it was good.
Okay, so tell us, what should DJ put in his speech?
Well, you know what I started with? All the things I love about Mark.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it came up with words, DJ, just words, and you are a talker like me. We can talk under concrete.
I'm impressed. Listen, I'm about 3 days. We'll just, I'm a little bit longer than 3 days away. You are 3 weeks away, and can I tell you, I've got a couple of ideas floating around my head for the speech.
You haven't written it?
I haven't written it down yet. It's going to be something that I'll be. I know me. I'll be doing it at the last minute, maybe the night before. But the only thing I've been told is I've got to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, well,
what does that mean?
Right. I was told the same.
Yeah,
because they know we can talk forever.
Exactly.
But DJ, I just had Mark in front of me. He's a beautiful man, and I just said, Lord, give me the words. And all these words just popped in my head, and I wrote them down. And I said, well, how am I going to flesh that out? And I felt like the Lord helped me anyway.
Oh.
So I just left it at the words, and I said to everyone, right, now, I'm not so great at these speeches, but here we go. All these words are what describes my beautiful son-in-law. And they loved it. And I just rattled off all these words. And everyone was clapping and smiling and yee-haw, because they related to the words too.
Okay.
Well, I love that. There you go, DJ. Thank you, Bernie.
Okay.
Maybe that's an idea.
Bernie, I like that. Just sort of bullet point ideas I can write down there. There's something to that. That might be a good brainstorming session. I like this. I need all the advice I can get. Men, if you're out there and you've got some advice on how I do not cry during my speech, I need to hear from you as well, because I need to be a manly man and not cry during the speech.
You do not.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of tears from everybody all the way around. But let us know, 1-800-316-316. You can go to facebook.com, Rise and Shine Vision. You'll see the post right there. You can leave a comment there as well. But I need some wedding speech advice. If you've done it before, let me know what worked for you.
Across Australia.
Rise and Shine.
There's a certain speech which you think DJ talks for a living, literally, but when you have to get up and give a speech at a wedding or another big occasion, it is something you really have to put some thought into, because it's memorable nowadays. There'll be like 20,000 people, videoing it.
Well,
you feel like watching the video maybe.
I think final count, they're trying to keep the reception for under 100 people. They're hovering around about 85, 90 people. So we'll see how that goes. Look, I do public speaking for a living.
I know.
It's not a problem. I can get up there and talk.
But it's the emotion of this, isn't
This is it. I do need some advice about the emotion, but I do need some advice about this wedding speech. I'm doing it on Saturday. Haven't even started writing it yet, but that's a whole other story. Give us some advice. 1-800-316-316. You can jump over to the Facebook page as well. I can see we've got Naomi here from Karratha on the line. Naomi, you got some advice for me?
Practice your speech, a few times what you're going to say. And then as you go through, as you're saying it, you'll go through all the emotions. You'll have the grief, you'll have the joy, you'll have so you practice going through, and you've actually allowed yourself to feel the emotions. Then when you get to do it on the day, you've already processed.
I like it.
I think that is very, very, very clever.
Wise idea. Now, Naomi, are you doing this? Are you telling me this from your own personal experience?
Yes, but also when my brother said that's what he did for my mum's funeral, like he's already gone through the emotions. But you do feel really strong emotions with your children's wedding, and I gave speeches at both of them, and I really, I really enjoyed it.
Okay, good. So practice doing it out loud. I like this. I think I'll be walking through the hills of Geelong, just practicing out loud, weeping to myself. I like this one, Naomi.
Yes.
Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Nigel in Mackay, do you have a tip for DJ?
I do. I gave a speech to my son's at my son's wedding.
Yes.
And everything I said, I didn't actually say, because I obviously gave the opening part, what a wonderful boy he is, what a wonderful wife he's found, blah, blah, blah. But when I then said, well, I could tell you about the moment when he did something, but I won't.
Very sneaky.
So there were multiple embarrassing things I could have said, and then what I did was I left it hanging, and that meant there was many conversations afterwards.
Oh,
wow!
I basically had the audience in the palm of my hand because they didn't know what I was going to say.
Nigel,
so
this
you're
is
scaring him,
good.
But
this is good. Well, it's funny, Nigel. I did. Can I ask you some advice here? Because I have said to my son and my future daughter, is there anything that's off limits?
Oh, yeah.
And both of them have said no.
Okay.
And then my son came to me afterwards and my wife and said, if you mention an ex-girlfriend,
right,
you were going to be thrown out of the building.
I think that's fair enough.
So you didn't go there or anything like that, did you, Nigel?
No, certainly not. No,
Okay,
that's definitely a no-go.
No goes.
Yeah,
All right, good,
I think
good,
that
good.
goes without saying. Well, obviously goes with saying, to be honest.
Nigel, I'm one of those people that when you say don't go there, all I can do
that's a definitely no.
is just think about going there. But I won't do it. Okay, Nigel, that is great advice.
Yeah,
I love that tip. I might even use it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let me know how it goes on.
Oh, for sure, will do. I'll let everybody know how it goes on.
Sure.
Well, that's going to be up to you and Robbo on this coming Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe shoot me a text and see if I'm still alive.
Well,
if I didn't say anything wrong.
Be, I'm sure.
if I don't get tempted to say anything wrong there. But on Monday, I might be able to give you a on-the-ground report from Geelong, letting you know how the wedding all went.
Please.
All right. I think this is great advice. Naomi, thank you so much. I'll be practicing. Nigel, love that idea of leaving them wanting more. That reminds me of an amazing story, but you'll have to ask me about it later on. Okay, there we go.
I've heard of all-day breakfast on the menu, but here's a brekkie show available 24/7. Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily Podcast.
You're on Rise and Shine, and normally we pay Saints about now, but behind the scenes, we're having trouble finding our champion this morning.
Richard, our champion. Richard, if you're listening in Swansea, Tasmania, where are you? We're trying to give you a call, but that's okay. That's okay. Maybe he needs the weekend off. I know he's a busy man wood turning down there and getting it in there. But we had a phone call from the lovely Paul in Glen Rowan, Victoria, beautiful part of the world. Paul, you gave us a call to let us know that there's a problem with the modulation in Glen Rowan at 87.6. And we said, yeah, that's really nice. Can you play a game with us right now? So the message is...
Yes, we'll pass that on.
Yeah,
but
be careful when you call us. You never know what you're going to get roped into. But Paul, it sounds like you're very knowledgeable when it comes to radio. You've obviously been helping out with Vision for a long time.
Yes, well, I've got the fortunate part where I've got 3 radio stations within me. When I used to go to work, I'd turn on 87.6 at Glen Rowan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd get on to 87.8 in Wangaratta. And then when that dropped out, I could get on to 88 in Wangaratta. So I was doing that for quite a few years. And occasionally they'd drop out and I'd ring up. And, I got to meet or talk with John Katzman fairly regularly. I'd say, this is what's happening, da-da-da-da. I've got a bit of a history of, I did a communications degree many, many years ago and spent more time in electronics than in radio. But, it's
so good.
Oh, we're so thankful for that.
I think Gene and the team call people like you their golden volunteers or their golden helpers there. People who know what's going on there. Well, listen, the good news is we have passed it on to the tech team that there's an issue there with Glen Rowan. So they are looking into it. So thank you, Paul. But how about this? If you've got some time this morning, why don't we listen to some music and come back and we'll dust off the classic game Bible Brainbusters. How's the brain feeling this morning, Paul?
Pretty good.
Okay.
I've got my granddaughter here with me who might be able to help me out as well if I get into trouble.
Okay.
What's her name?
Harriet.
Harriet
Jean.
Harriet,
how old
good
is she?
morning, Harriet. How old are you?
8.
Oh, okay. Well, listen.
Harriet, do you have a favourite Bible character or Bible person, Harriet?
No.
You don't, just
Okay.
the whole thing.
All
Very
right.
good.
Well, listen, you can help.
You can help. That'll be much better.
You can help your grandfather here as we play in just a moment. So stay there. We'll be back in a moment to play with Harriet and Paul, the Bible Brainbuster. We have Grandpa Paul in Glenrowan and 8-year-old Harriet, the Wonder Team, here together. How are you two doing?
We're doing very good. We've
All
got
right.
our brains turned on.
Okay, good. This is what you're going to need. Well, listen, I have got a person from the Bible, could be anyone from the Bible, Old or New Testament. I'm going to start reading you some clues, and soon as you know who it is, Harriet, I want you to yell out the name of who you and Grandpa think it is. Can you do that together?
Yes, she's nodding.
Yeah, good. Okay, you can whisper together, you can confer, you can do all of that type of stuff. All right, here we go. The first clue is, I was known to cut corners. The Bible mentions me by name over 1,000 times.
Wow.
My brother thought I was a bit conceited.
Oh.
One of my many sons had a lot of hair. I fought in a lot of wars. I am the youngest of 8 sons.
I know.
Who? Who do you reckon?
We got some confidence.
You forgot his name?
All right, I'll keep going.
You've got it, Harriet.
My dancing made my wife very angry.
Oh, yes.
I became a king at the age of 30. I like to write a lot of songs. One of my enemies lost his head.
That was Goliath. Who did Goliath fight?
Is that the big angry giant thing?
Yeah, the big angry giant thing.
I'll give you one more. When I was fighting Goliath, I gave it my best shot, and I am known as a man after God's own heart.
Yep.
What do we think?
David? Was it David? Big loud voice.
David!
Oh!
Yay! Harriet,
with some help from Grandpa Paul there.
You did
well
it.
done. Well done. Hey, listen, Harriet and Paul, we're going to send you out a very special, I got a special kids prize pack coming out for Harriet that contains a DVD and some books. How does that sound, Harriet?
That sounds good. Yep.
We've got you both there. All right, well, stay there on the line, Paul and Harriet. We'll grab your details. But thank you so much for playing the Bible Brainbuster with us.
Well, thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, hopefully, if all goes to plan, Saints of the Century will find Richard, and we'll be back with that tomorrow.
There's one song left to play on Rise and Shine, and it's your choice. It's time for the curtain call.
That's right. This is the time of the day where we hand over the reins for the song choice. And DJ, I can see you reading what looks like it might be a lovely wedding-related text.
Oh, you got it in one here. The lovely Leslie and Mark from Upper Kedron. Now, Leslie and Mark are our music gurus. They are people, they're one of the thousands and thousands of Vision listeners who are crying out for the Music Machine to come back as a regular game. I know, you can, everybody expects it to be millions and millions of people, but it's only thousands who are wanting the Music Machine to come back.
One or two.
Leslie and Mark from Upper Kedron are two of those people, and they send us a lovely message in light of everything that's happened. They say, "Hey, Phil and DJ, Mark and I would love to hear one of our songs as a curtain call this morning. This was played at our wedding." Love this. Some wedding suggestions. We would love to hear DC Talk's God Send. Beautiful song. That is, let's play it out here as we remember some beautiful weddings there. I can imagine Leslie and Mark there dancing together at their reception. This is God Send by DC Talk. It's your curtain call here on Rise and Shine.
Wow, that's DC Talk God Send, a very special wedding-related request.
I forgot how smooth that is. That is a really,
it wasn't what I was expecting, because I think of
Yeah.
DC Talk and I think kind of rappy, upbeat. But that was very lovely.
That's their one love song that the DC Talk fans could play at their wedding, I think.
Okay, they wrote one for the wedding.
Because you can't play Jesus Freak at the wedding, or maybe you could. I don't know. Hey, thank you so much, everyone who's been in contact with us today. Just putting it out there, I have put up on Facebook, there's been so much going on today. Up on our Facebook page, you need to get across it. We are over 1,000 followers on our Facebook page. Thank you to everyone who's got across it there. We are, believe it or not, 499 people on our Facebook group, one person away from 500. But on the Facebook page, we've got links to, let me just get through of them, Perco's seminar, Jason Perkins' seminar that is coming up. He's putting on a free webinar on December the 30th. Get yourself registered. You can find the link there on Facebook. Also on Facebook, Spin It or Pin It. You can find all the details for that. Plus, I have put a post up there about wedding speeches. I've got to do a wedding speech on Saturday for my son. My first child is getting married, and I've got to do a speech. I've also got to do I think I've got to do a prayer at some point as well. I need to find out that. But I'll get all the details for you tomorrow. But I need some advice. I need some help. So if you can get over onto that Facebook account, over onto facebook.com/Rise and Shine Vision, just do a search and like. You'll see the post there. Give me some speech advice, especially if you've done one before. You teach at schools and universities, professoring it up and all sorts of stuff that you do. You're giving speeches all the time. But you got any, advice for this type of stuff,
look,
Phil?
mine is I'm a preparer, and I always say just practice. So I would agree with our other advice that
Naomi
practice
said,
is the best.
get out there and practice.
Saying it out live.
Yeah.
Say it out to, if you need to find a field or a mirror is actually the best.
Really?
You see yourself.
I'd start laughing at myself as soon as I
Do
said,
you?
yeah.
Well, okay, don't do that then.
Okay.
But maybe it would help in the situation.
Who was the famous preacher who spent these formative years preaching to cows? He would go out in the fields.
Yes, that's right.
He'd go
That's what I think
Maybe
of.
I need to find. I've got some cows
There's
behind my
cows
house.
near you.
Yeah.
I know where you live. There's cows around
there
there.
are cows near where I live, so I might go out and
They're
find the
always
cows.
a very obedient audience. They don't. They walk away, I suppose. But
You know who was out there this morning to greet me as I got up this morning was my magpies.
well, your Maggies. Maybe save the Maggies.
Maybe I'll preach. Not preach. I'll share a speech to the magpies.
It's only 5 minutes. Nowadays I go for a walk and practice sermons and things because I find that you're out loud.
I got to do some practicing. I missed a wing it. I can't do it
if you like.
Pardon?
We'll hear it Rise and Shine. You can practice it.
I don't know if my son will forgive me if I put it out on national radio before.
Okay, well, afterwards we'll wait then like everybody else. Well, we do need to hand over the show, though, to the rest of the Vision crew.
Yeah.
Whatever you're up to today, we pray it's a fabulous day, and we will be back bright and early tomorrow morning.
It's going to be a special one tomorrow, so we will see you then. Bless you heaps.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.